Okay, welcome to our final episode of April, our leadership series in 18 minutes. I am LJ Finney. My company is IN-18, and we provide leadership development through experience-based learning, executive retreats, team building, group coaching, and customized training experiences that leverage learning as a way to help you transform your business and your organization's culture. So think of change management, think of project management, but think of people management. And how do you encourage retention over recruitment? Because it's far less expensive to retain top talent than recruit new talent. It just is. On this episode of Any Given Monday, we are focusing on collaborative success and golf as a learning platform. This episode incorporates the guidance for those starting to play golf, understanding your why, but also emphasizing our goal, at least, is to emphasize the value of group learning and engaging with experienced players. Welcome to our next episode. Happy to have you. And we're exploring collaborative success, but also teaching you just generally how all of the things we previously spoke about connect. We talked about adaptability. We talked about focus, discipline. And now we're focusing on collaboration and how shared learning on the course and in the workplace can lead to greater success. One of the best examples I give about golf is that it's such an individual sport. You are playing against yourself. You know what you are capable of, and you know that you have great potential and you want to perform. And many individual contributors like golf, no different than running or other sports. But the challenge is, how can you be a successful and highly accomplished individual contributor and still participate in as part of a team and excel, but also help your team excel? It's such a conundrum, I would think. And I see it in myself and I see it in others. How do I do my best, but then do my best with the intention of taking a step one? I need a team to thrive. I need others to thrive. So let's talk about that on the course and in the workplace, collaborative success. Golf is a game of shared experiences, whether you're a seasoned player or just starting. So the course is a great place for an equal playing field to learn, to grow, to connect. And we have handicaps to help normalize the playing and skill ability. But success isn't just about individual skill. It's who you play with, how you learn, and what you learn from them. So there's a lot to be discussed in that. So at this point, I want to pause and talk about what the value of collaborative success is. Collaboration fosters trust, creativity, the shared ownership of the success. It helps you leverage the strengths of individuals to achieve one common goal and to do it at a faster and better pace. So even in the client experience that I most recently had, they had some staff that won't be able to participate, and they decided to rework the entire event without really asking, had I already taken into consideration that there might be changes to the schedule or the participation? And the answer is yes, I did. I had contingency plans, because any great project manager always has a contingency plan. But in that case, we didn't collaborate well enough for them to know that I had this contingency plan. So that's an example of where we just need to communicate and collaborate. However, the value of that is they got to see the benefit of delegation and the full sense of the total cost of ownership. When you hand over something, you're giving another person an opportunity to thrive. If you ask them, how would you handle this, versus telling them what to do? So that was a great example of how they were able to learn firsthand the importance of delegation and the value of delegating, not abdicating, being able to keep up to date and understand how things are changing. For anyone new to golf, though, starting out with a group is one of the best ways to learn. The camaraderie creates a supportive environment, and you'll pick up valuable tips. But this can be accelerated when you play with more experienced golfers, because they're able to give you some insights. Take the lesson and you play with the experienced golfers to learn the culture and the etiquette. And I have to say, I am a huge fan of unspoken rules and etiquette in golf, in business, and in life. And I love uncovering these social cues and the way that we've normalized or the culture of each activity. There's a culture of basketball, there's a culture of golf. And then how do you learn these things? You're socialized to learn them. And so it's always great to play with more experienced players, because then you're able to learn from them and understand the why behind some of the colloquialisms or language or habits or traits. Golf is a great equalizer in that way, because it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a seasoned player. Everyone still has something to learn and share, new tips, new tricks, new strategies. I'll pause there to really think about group learning. I believe in a peer coaching model. I believe that people learn from their peers better. I am a board member, a founding board member of Finer Life Golf. And when we teach the children golf, we don't just teach the children over and over repeatedly. We teach one child, and we ask that child to serve as a teacher of his peers, because the way in which the children reinterpret or communicate what they've learned, it's priceless. If you've ever listened to how a child restates and rephrases and reframes something that you've shared, ask them to teach their peers. Ask them to teach their younger siblings. You'll see the way that they will break the conversation down into a more digestible format. They will explain it in the way that they've learned. And the same is true when it comes to peer coaching for business leaders. I love peer coaching models where business leaders learn from one another. When you have a facilitator to normalize the conversation, or at least ensure that everyone is able to participate, the outcome and the experience is priceless, because they're able to take the situation and learn from it based on their own experiences, not from a leader, not from a teacher, but from one another. And when you start to measure the change in the behavior and the change in the effectiveness of that time, it's exponentially greater than me coaching someone. When I coach and facilitate a group, they're able to have a group conversation. So group learning, as part of a experience, it provides multiple perspectives, it's shared encouragement, and it creates a different sense of accountability, because it can help you grow faster. It fosters stronger communication, better problem solving, and builds deeper trust. When it comes to established players on the golf course and why collaboration matters, it helps you see what's possible. They bring experience, insight, strategic perspectives that you may be in your head and unable to reconcile. Like, I did that yesterday. Why can't I do this today? When I got to watch the Masters and seeing Rory struggle, I identified with the plight of a great golfer not being able to accomplish the goals that he set out. He was ahead. He was almost going to win on the 18th hole. And then the ball goes into the bunker, and then he evened the game. So when you watch the recap of the Masters, you can see that even the best still struggle with some very basic challenges. And that's what golf does. There's no perfect game and there's no perfect round, but you can have really good ones. The lessons translate directly to leadership. On the course experience, players can show you how to read the greens, refine your technique, and develop a mindset for overcoming challenges. I'm always working on that. I just played this past weekend, and I really struggled with my own mindset. And I also recognized that I was highly distracted. I had new gadgets. It was raining. All of the excuses, but I look at this as a great opportunity to say, what was your mindset when you stepped onto the course? What were you thinking? You were thinking about the rain. How do you bring yourself back? And in the office, when you go down the rabbit hole, how do you bring people back? I'm really good at that in meetings. When you look at project managers, when you look at meeting management means keeping people on the agenda. You allow the conversation to deviate slightly. But if you have a number of things that you need to accomplish by the end of the call or the meeting, then you have to kind of stay focused. Very similar approach. Real world application is different. When we're looking at case studies, my thought is always, how can I make or share information that is relevant for the person? How do I encourage people to collaborate? If you've been an independent or individual contributor, how do I encourage you to pull on the strengths of others when I know that you can do it all? We all have an ability to persevere and learn, but how do you teach someone to take a step back so that someone else can excel in an area that they're also great at? Let's look at one of the leaders that I've worked with that use golf as a team building tool. By organizing regular group play, they create a culture of collaboration and openness among their leadership team. They shared the learning experience through improved trust and communication, and it led to better execution strategies because they thought of each other in scenarios where they would have normally not done that. So every week they look forward to this group lesson, this group scramble model format. They look forward to the additional activities, just range time. They look forward to the way that the event was structured and being able to rotate and meet different people from their team and engage with them in a different way. They did not talk about business at all. They just talked about their lives, who they were, how they show up in the office, and it allowed them to kind of share a more personal experience and see the humanity in one another, so that when conflict did arise in the workplace, they were more willing to work through it. As a golfer or an aspiring golfer, if you're hesitant about starting to play, don't be. You can start with a group. You can find your own group. And I will say the hardest part and the tip that I will be sharing going forward are some resources. If you have two or more friends that are interested in becoming golfers, the easiest strategy is to contact your local course and ask if there are any group sessions going on there already. And if not, speak to the head pro at the golf course and ask if they'd be willing to provide a group lesson. Golf and golf lessons, not all pros are created the same. Some have more experience working with beginners or a passion for teaching beginners, and some have a greater passion for game improvement to help an existing golfer break down their swing and build up skills in another area. So maybe if you're slicing or you're hitting the ball too far left or right, now you need swing correction. So different pros for different reasons. They all know how to do each of those things, but some excel at being able to communicate. And everyone's learning style is different. So it's important that you find a pro that resonates with you, that you trust, that you like the way that they speak to you, that you like the way that they communicate or explain. Maybe you are a visual learner. You need to see someone demonstrate it. Or maybe you need to listen and you learn and you interpret it. It depends on you. So that's one way to get into the game. Happy to share those tips and tricks later. You build relationships when you're spending that time on the course. So I encourage you to pick people that you want to be around for an extended period of time. Other things to think about is just success in general. It's never achieved alone. You never can succeed on your own. You'll do well, but you can go so much further when you work with others. Combining your strength with others and engaging those that are more experienced than you can set the stage for remarkable results. So thank you for joining me on Any Given Monday. Take these lessons off this screen and into the golf course or onto the golf course or into the next round that you play. I will say it is the season. I've given you 4 weeks of information. Now is your time. You'll see golf outings being scheduled. Pick the outings where you think that you'll have the most opportunity to connect with others. Pick outings that are good for beginners. Ask before you register, is this a beginner-friendly event? Because if it's not, you may not be happy. You may not enjoy it. So think about these things before you actually pay your money, or think about being a sponsor and coming to the course. I shared with one of the women that I've spoken to in the past about just sponsorship in general. You can be the sponsor that delivers the most unique and creative gifts that create an on-course experience that is priceless. It's not just about getting a t-shirt or a hat. It is more about how do people feel and what do they think about your brand? What's one lesson that you've learned on the course or one lesson you've learned from an outing? I hope that you share that as well. But before we go, I must say, let me model my hat. This is for Finer Life Golf. This is the hat that I wear to advocate for and show support of the nonprofit Finer Life Golf Foundation. It is a gateway to the game. It teaches kids in the inner city the values of golf and leadership with the intention of helping disrupt stereotypes around the game and showcase the fact that golf can be for everyone. We bring golf into the community for kids to learn and see all that they are capable of. We are hosting a fundraising golf outing on July 18th at Pelham Split Rock, which is in the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx. So please look out for the information. It is open to all. It is a beginner-friendly event, but if you came to play, we will ensure that you get through your 18 holes. Structure it properly so that you can do that. If you want to volunteer, let me know. If you want to be a sponsor, let me know. And if you want to participate, let me know. One of the values of this organization is its ability to introduce kids to a sport that they did not think was for them, that they do not maybe have exposure or awareness of, but more so to show them it's more than a game. It's about how you think about yourself and what you think you are deserving of. I tell all of the students, you belong anywhere your feet are. So act like it. We look at leadership as the core principle of learning the game, because in this space, it is possible to be an excellent golfer, but I want them to focus on, and what our board members focus on, is their mindset. Who are you when you show up? How can you present yourself and know that you are capable of anything that you put your mind to? So leadership and demonstrating the basic values of leaders is what we focus on. You can always be on time. You can always be impeccable with your word. You can always have integrity. You can always do your best. And you can think about how you want to show up in the world to be an example for others. So that is what we focus on with Finer Life Golf Foundation. Thank you for joining us on Any Given Monday. This 18 minutes of leadership. Oh, I forgot the one major thought. This past weekend, I played golf with the LPGA Amateurs Golf Association. It is a true testament of collaboration at its finest. In previous years, I served as the director of events. And then following that, I served as the president for 2 years. It was one of the most transformational experiences for me as a golfer as a result of being part of that organization. I've gotten to travel to Scotland, to Ireland, to Portugal, as well as Casa de Campo to play Teeth of the Dog, the Dive 4, and the Links course in Dominican Republic. I will say finding yourself a community of golfers that have been the places that you would like to go, that play the game in the way you aspire to play, is probably the most transformational thing you can do for your game. This season for me, it's all about walking, being able to work on my own cardio and personal health, but then also improve my own game. I really think that collaboration is a testimony of your ability to see the power and the strength and the value of others, being able to showcase others' skills and help them reach their greatest point, because together you will all rise. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you for joining me on Any Given Monday. I'd like to share one photo before we leave. This was when we first started trying to offer golfers of my community. I was at Barclays Capital and convinced the Women's Internal Network to join me for clinics at Chelsea Piers Golf Club. And during that time, it was Women's Golf Day, and I think some of those people are still at Chelsea Piers, but our focus was, how can I bring all of the women in Barclays or at Barclays Capital to golf? And so in 2007 and 2008, we had clinics. Fast forward to now, I'm focused more on the children. That was most recently worked with a middle school and brought their kids out to do a leadership on the golf course session. And then that background is when I got to go with a friend to PGA West and spend my time in Palm Springs, California. And that was all because of collaboration, and we had an amazing time. So I say this golf season, collaborate. That's the word. And have a great day.